Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. An absolute pleasure to have you here with us in beautiful Venice. Maybe you could just begin with a brief introduction to this film you're starring in, Monica. What can audiences expect if they watch it?
Nice to meet you, Sarah. I would say it's a family experience. It's a family drama based in a woman who's had to protect herself for a very long time.
And in terms of, the appeal for you for this project, were you already familiar with Andrea's work? Was it the script itself? What drew you to playing the character?
I was not familiar with Andrea or his work, so I did look him up after I read the script. The script came to me in 2016, December of 2016, so a long time ago. And then I started auditioning that next year, and there was several rounds of auditions. The thing that I really liked was that this was a script. It was a film that was written through the lens, of a trans woman. Finally, she was at the center and not just not a vehicle for someone else's story or a side plot or whatever. It was Monica, and it was a very real story, and I felt like, okay, this is something that a lot of trans people have dealt with in terms of rejection from their family and having to resort to different things to stay afloat and uh, live on their own. Um, and it felt true. So I wanted to I wanted to do this role, and I fought for it.
And one of the things that's fascinating, of course, is this mother-daughter relationship. And it's as much about what's not spoken as what is. So how did you kind of perhaps work with, phenomenal actress Patricia Clarkson? Did you kind of have to rehearse that? And there's sort of so much nuance and so much has to be, kind of conveyed with things other than words.
Well, she and I think our bond, our family kind of mother-daughter thing, it happened so fast. I met her at a party in Los Angeles. I think it was Emmy weekend, maybe a year before we started shooting, because they still hadn't had all the funding for the film. So I met her, and she and I had been attached for a while. I think I was attached a little bit longer, but she was attached for at least 3 years. And it was immediate, like when she hugged me and playfully said, "Oh, my daughter." And I felt it. And it's not something that we really had to work too hard at. I mean, she's a great actress. She's got a lot of films under her belt, and it was really, really cool to watch her work. So I learned a lot.
And thinking about the shoot itself and kind of Andrea's style of shooting, kind of very much from Monica's perspective, but then also, I guess, allowing the audience also to project their own kind of thoughts and feelings on what's happening. Did that present any challenges in the way you had to shoot the film, or what were some of the highlights as well?
Yeah, I mean, he was very specific in the framing that he wanted, and sometimes even the choreography of my movements or my body or my shifting. So to think about those things as an actor when you're trying to connect emotion, you're trying to get to the emotion. Like that's my primary goal. But then there's this technical side of things as well, which you have to find a way to juggle and marry them both. So that was a challenge, but I think it made me a better actor.
What do you hope people take away from watching the film? Because I guess there's a lot of complexity in the relationship and how, from Monica's perspective, being able to forgive or move past kind of being estranged, being abandoned, and how we guess everybody might have there's a universal element to that doesn't necessarily have to be about the trans experience, but it's also a kind of fresh lens on the trans experience that we haven't seen maybe on screen before. So it's kind of like a double side to it.
Yeah, it's absolutely a universal theme. That's one of my favorite things about the film is that you can apply it to so many different relationships or experiences. But I think my takeaway was that forgiveness is just, it's not it's not just for the other person, it's also for you. Like it's really sad to think that, oh, for 20 years, they've been estranged, but it's also really beautiful to know that there was some kind of hope, at least for reconciliation, or at least a little bit of wonderment for, I don't know what this is going to bring, but I'm going to get in this car and go see what's going to happen. I don't know, but I would like to say by the end of the film, I think that Monica is glad that she took that journey.
And I guess a message in a way that it's never too late, however long it has been.
I mean, that could be a message that's applied to it. I mean, I hate to, coach anyone through their own experiences in life, but I do think it's an example of, well, if Monica can go back after that long, what's keeping you?
And in a sense, how do you see that a film like this as well can be like a microcosm, because it's obviously on a family level, but also, acceptance for trans people in wider society? And how do you see that that's, I feel like in some respects, it feels like we're making progress, and then just as quickly it can feel like we're going backward. Do you have a sense of that in the broader scale of things?
Yeah, it feels like we're doing like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It feels like that's been kind of the progress since like the 90s, when I started my exploration of gender. And um, so it's been I've been watching it for a long time. And it, I find little moments where I'm a little bit hopeful or surprised at certain things. Like, I've noticed it in my dating life recently, where, I guess if I could be a little more specific, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 8 or 9 out of 10 guys, once I said, hey, I'm trans, by the way, like, I don't know how you feel about that, they would just walk away or get upset or worse, and now I feel like that ratio has shifted to maybe half. And I can deal with that a little bit better, and it's taken a while, but it's encouraging that, like, oh, okay, at least half of them see me as someone that they see me as a woman, and just a woman of a different experience. I had a different childhood. It is what it is. And some of them have even said, you're really strong for being the woman that you are. And it's like almost like a positive to them. So I'm processing that, you know. So I've seen a shift. I don't know if I veered off your question at all, but like that's, I hope there's progress. I hope this film helps. I hope it changes things. I hope it opens more doors for other trans girls, trans people in general.
And in particular, what does it mean to you to be, part of a film that's here in Venice, not only kind of playing out in front of live audiences, after the pandemic and everything, but also, that it's, you're the main star in a competition film. There's not been a trans actress who's done that before.
It's wild. I've been a working actor for a long time, waiting for the opportunity to just really tell a meaningful story and be at the center of it in a way that, I don't know, allows me to showcase my craft and my work in a way that I think every actor is just kind of waiting for that moment to feel like, oh, okay, the industry sees me too, and they appreciate whatever work I've done, and it's just special.
And, thinking of all the sort of firsts that you've managed to achieve in your career, whether that's TV or working on films like Hustlers, what have been some of those standout moments for you? And if you could just quickly tell us what you're going to work on next.
This is definitely a big moment for me. Yeah, I don't know. I know firsts are important, but I hope that things just progress in a way where our opportunities to can expand, and we won't have to make headlines for those kind of things anymore. I mean, obviously, we should celebrate those milestones. But the real win is when we don't have to fight so hard for those things anymore. The next thing I'm working on, well, I shot a film right after Monica. It's called Dope Queens. It was shot in San Francisco in the Tenderloin District, which is a historical trans district, and it's a romantic thriller. So it's way different from Monica, but hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with us, and
Yeah.
really enjoy the rest of the time here in Venice. Thank you.
Absolutely. Nice meeting you.